Hi guys, my name is Victoria and today I am bringing you my July book haul. Now I definitely did not intend to buy books this month. I was bored one day sitting around the house visiting with my family and we weren't really doing anything, and I had my phone out and I saw that Book Outlet had sent me an email that they were having a big sale, and lo and behold, I magically bought $50 worth of books. I'm sure I don't need to justify myself to you book lovers out there, but I feel very guilty about this. I definitely did not need to buy 13 more books. Nonetheless, I did it, so I thought I would share them with you today. The first book that I will show you is one that I'm very excited about. This is called You're Never Weird on the Internet, almost, by Felicia Day. If you haven't heard of Felicia Day before, she's a fairly well-known actress. She's appeared in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is one of my very favorite shows of all time, Slayer, Supernatural, Eureka, a lot of kind of nerdy TV shows. This is her memoir, I believe, and she's basically talking to us about her life and how she got to where she is. I'm really excited to read it. I love her. I've heard this is a funny book. I've heard it's good from one of my friends, so looking forward to getting to this one. It looks like a quick read too. The next book that I have to show you is also a nonfiction book. It's called Everybody Lies: Big Data, New Data, and What the Internet Can Tell Us About Who We Really Are. And the author of this book is Seth Stevens Davidowitz. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. It sounds like what this book is about is how before the internet people could lie about themselves a lot easier. We could get away with more. And now that we have the internet, we can't lie anymore because the internet collects data on people and it's a lot harder to get away with things. It's much easier to uncover dirt on people now that we have the internet. This just caught my eye. It's a topic that I've never read about before, so I'm interested to see what Seth comes up with here. I think what Seth does is he uses the data of people lying about themselves and what people lie about to reveal what is important to us as humans and just kind of reveal the human psyche a little bit. The next book I have to show you is a young adult historical fiction novel called Revolution is Not a Dinner Party, and this follows a character named Ling, and she is a young 9-year-old during the Cultural Revolution in China. I believe it's based on the author's real life. I'm not sure about that, but the title and the cover just caught my eye, and I haven't read a lot of things about China, and I haven't read a lot of historical fiction set in China, so I'm looking forward to getting to this one as well. Next up, I have The Time of the Locust, or no, just Time of the Locust, by Maroa Yajide. Oh man, I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher your name. I'm so sorry. The premise of this book sounded really interesting to me. It's about an autistic boy who kind of lives in a world of his own making. He imagines sea creatures in his head that help him process information and help him deal with the world. He has a broken family, his father is locked up in prison, and he starts to have strange dreams about a fantastical universe. It sounds like there's some fantasy elements in this story. I'll have to read it to find out, but looking forward to getting this one. The title and the cover really just stood out to me, and I'm always interested in reading about people with autism. I have many students who have autism. I'm a school teacher, so the more that I can read about, even in fiction, is helpful to me. Next book we have is one that I have had my eye on for quite some time. It is a fantasy novel called Kushil's Dart, and this is a giant copy. You probably can't tell, but it's really huge. Our heroine is female in the story, and she is cursed. From the back of the book it says that she's cursed or blessed to find pleasure in pain, which is very interesting. She's brought up as a courtesan in this fantastical world, and through being a courtesan she uncovers a scandal. Sounds like there's a conspiracy against the throne, and she is kind of in the middle of it. And so it sounds like we follow her as she maybe becomes a hero of the story and does something to help save her kingdom. I don't know. I have to read the book first. I've seen this book floating around, and even though I don't have a really firm grasp of the synopsis, I'm looking forward to it. I had a friend read it and she liked it. I think this is a fairly lengthy series as well, so hopefully I like this first one enough to continue on with the series. The next book I have to show you is Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I have not read anything by Rainbow Rowell yet. Of course, she's all over BookTube and obviously a very well-loved author. This one is, I think, a little more mixed review. I feel like the one that everyone loves is Fangirl. Some reviews I've seen of this are positive and some are negative. I'm not sure what to think yet. I have never read Rainbow Rowell, so I'm looking forward to getting to this one. I believe this is a pretty classic girl meets boy story in high school, and they are kind of navigating their way through love. They're aware that high school romance doesn't necessarily last, but they are hopeful that it does. It sounds like it might be cute, maybe heartbreaking, I'm not sure. We will find out. The next book I have to show you I'm very excited about. It is a collection of short stories from Frank Herbert. If you don't know Frank Herbert, he wrote Dune, the very famous sci-fi series Dune, which I've read the first book. I've read Dune and really enjoyed it. Very interesting world. Haven't seen the movie. I've heard the movie's terrible. I'm maybe gonna skip the movie. Maybe I'll get to it someday. I don't know. I haven't read a lot of short stories and definitely not a lot of sci-fi short stories, so I'm very interested in getting to these. Maybe I'll just read like one short story here and there in between some other things. If you haven't checked out Frank Herbert and you're a sci-fi fan, definitely read Dune. I would start with that one since that's his kind of magnum opus. The next book I have to show you is a middle grade fantasy, and that is Wild Magic by Tamara Pierce. I first saw this on Reagan's channel over at Peruse Project, and it looked cute, it looked like fun. It's about a girl who has a power to speak to animals, and that just sounds like cute and a good time. I accidentally ordered 2 of these books, so I think the other one I'm gonna give to my niece who really likes to read, and she's about the right age for this book. She's like 11. Sounds like fun, sounds cute. The next book that I have to show you, I'm very curious as to if anyone's ever read this before. I stumbled upon this, and when I read the synopsis, I was just like, wait, what? That can't be real. But it is real. This is called Anonymous Rex by Eric Garcia, and it is about a dinosaur who is a detective. That's basically what it's about. And he somehow is able to hide himself in his trench coat, and he's trying to like hide his tail as he's trying to fight crime and solve mysteries. It sounds so funny and weird, and I don't know what to think about it, but it was like $2, so I was like, why not? Let's try it. It sounds crazy. It sounds like it could be a good time, and it sounds like it could also be really lousy. We'll see. If you've read this book, I'm curious as to your thoughts and if this is worth reading. The next book that I've picked up is called My Lady Jane. This is a popular young adult novel right now. It is by, who is it by? That's a great question. Oh, it's got 3 authors on it? I didn't even realize that. Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. My Lady Jane, I actually don't know a lot about it, and when I tried to read the synopsis, it was kind of convoluted and hard to understand. So I'm not going to try to define it. I'm sure other people have read this book on BookTube and they can help you out with that. But I've heard it's sort of a mixture of historical fiction and fantasy, which those are 2 of my favorite things. So why not? I've heard great things about it. Now we're going to dive into some classics that I picked up. The first one is Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. I love Thomas Hardy. I've read The Mayor of Casterbridge, and I studied that way back in high school. Loved it as a high schooler, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy this one as well. From what I can tell, this is about a character named Bathsheba Everdeen, and she is a headstrong young woman who attracts the attentions of a succession of suitors. So there's 3 different suitors that are kind of after her, and it sounds like something tragic happens. As the men vie for her affections, she struggles to retain her independence of spirit in the face of their declaration. I'm really excited to get into Thomas Hardy again. I've loved The Mayor of Casterbridge back in high school when I read it, so hopefully I love it now too. The next book that I picked up is On the Road by Jack Kerouac. This doesn't need a lot of introduction. I know a lot of people know what this is about already. It's inspired by Jack Kerouac's own travels with Neil Cassidy and kind of their meandering through America and observations of America. I kind of want to save it for like, I don't know, a road trip or something if I ever go on a road trip in the near future. Also heard mixed things about this one. Some people love it, some people hate it. We'll see where I fall. The last classic and the final book that I have to show you, I'm pretty excited about actually. I hadn't heard about it before. I saw it on Book Outlet. It's called We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This book sounds dark and creepy and I'm all about it. This book follows two sisters named Catherine and Constance, and it sounds like Constance is suspected of poisoning her family. The two sisters live kind of isolated away from other people. The town is very suspicious of them both and kind of persecutes them. And one day their cousin Charles shows up out of the blue and he's very interested in their money and their safe that they have. And it sounds like there's kind of a mystery that unfolds from there, and we find out a little bit more about this family and the darkness that is in the background. I've never read Shirley Jackson before, but this one just sounded really interesting to me. And these orange penguin classics are really cute and pretty. I really like them. It's a short book, so I think it's short and packed with action. All right, we've made it to the end of the book haul. Those are all the books that I picked up and didn't need to pick up, but well, there they are now, and who knows when I'll get to any of them. I have so many books, I really didn't need to buy any more books, but here they are. They're here, I must read them. Thank you so much for watching my video today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and rest of your week. Be sure to click subscribe if you would like to see any more bookish content from me. I try to post at least once or twice every week. Keep reading great books, and I'll see you next time. Bye!